Pastor Terance Baynes demoted, Sampson promoted. These are just some of the changes made as the long-awaited THA reshuffle finally happened after Chief Secretary Farley Augustine promised in 2022 to reshuffle his team. The Office of the Chief Secretary published a release informing the public of changes made to the Executive Council, and most of these changes have taken effect today. Arianna Scipio has the details.
Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, currently the Secretary for the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy, will step down on July 1st, 2024, and a new Secretary will be announced and installed. However, before this course of action, he will present his final budget as the Finance Secretary in June. Here are some other changes made to the executive. Formerly the Assistant Secretary for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Assemblyman Sonny Craig is now the Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary with specific responsibility for energy transition, carbon sequestration and overarching environmental protection policies. Assemblyman Megan Morrison is now the Assistant Secretary for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, responsible for social support programs. Morrison was previously the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transport. Councillor Sertica Williams-Orr now holds specific responsibility for reorganizing the HR structures of the division and the Department of Trade, as well as General Public Service Management, as Assistant Secretary for the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy. Williams-Orr was the Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary. Former Assistant Secretary for the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development, Niall George is now the Assistant Secretary for the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transport, with specific responsibility for sport tourism, community-based tourism and culture. Formerly the Assistant Secretary for the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Councillor Orlando Kerr is now responsible for Public Utilities and Rural Development as Assistant Secretary in the Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development. Taking effect on Tuesday, 14th May 2024 are the following. Assemblyman Pastor Terance Baynes was demoted from the position of Secretary and is now the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, responsible for URP and maintenance. He will also be supported in becoming the Deputy Presiding Officer in the Assembly. Baynes was the Secretary for Community Development, Youth Development and Sports. Assemblyman Sampson, who was the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Infrastructure, was promoted to Full Secretary. He now leads the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport. All other secretaries and assistant secretaries remain in their positions. Arianna Scipio, Tobago Updates Television News.